these armies eventually meet. But at this point, Klovos' army is just much bigger, and BahamutZERO is just going to be forced to retreat. And once again, having this probe here is going to allow him to see this entire army, know exactly what to expect, and prepare. Robotics facility going down for Klovos. I'm not sure what he's going to be getting out from that. Perhaps an observer to check in and scout the opponent's base. Again, these units just cruising the map, making sure no one's coming here to claim this gold expansion, which does yield additional minerals. Still amassing gateway units right here at the front of his main. A probe in the mix, maybe expecting to send that out and do some kind of proxy pylon. At this point, both players are at 4 warp gate. Ooh, we have a Twilight Council going down and blink being researched for the Stalkers, so while we have some weapons upgrades for the blue player, our red player is looking to maybe sneak into the base through the back, get around this ramp, which is, as I've stated before, is very well protected. Again, just doing a very good job scouting. Although he's not occupying this watchtower here, nor is he defeating this probe here to take this watchtower, he's doing a very great job just moving his army around, knowing exactly where things are on the map. He can basically be sure that there's no one pushing out. Again, both players just sticking with one base, almost up to 60 food here. Taking a look at the units, pretty even overall. Oops, sorry, skip that. A few more sentries than zealots. An observer out for Klovos, which may give him a slight advantage, although it's just sitting there in his own base right now. So I'm still very curious. I'm not really sure who's going to come out on top, but just this amount of stalkers is... Having 5 more stalkers is really going to prove an advantage, but as he's just satisfied to sit in his base and macro up, no one's really being the aggressor here. Of course, this force is going to get annihilated by this blue force. BahamutZERO better pull back, and he does wisely, throwing at the Guardian Shield and the Force Field. He's going to be able to make short work of these Zealots, but he's got a micro well here because you don't want these Stalkers to catch up with you. Luckily, these Stalkers don't have Blink while BahamutZERO's do, so he should be able to escape. And taking an expansion wisely, although I do like to see this more often when you've won a victory rather than lost. But he's luckily leading them the long way around, but Klovos is smart enough to know that he can just take the shortcut, push right in here. This isn't very well defended, no cannons down, although it looks like almost an even match of Stalkers versus Stalkers, but the Blink could prove the advantage, getting it close there. You're going to avoid any force fields that keep him back and out of range. Get back to the production tab, nothing in production for either. Both players too focused on their micro here, probably wise. Klovos coming back here for the proxy pylon, and Klovos is just basically held off that entire army, but still choosing not to push in. I think he's got enough here. Only 4 stalkers coming out. A little probe transfer here. Always like to see that as soon as the expansion goes down, but at this point, he could really just overwhelm this force, take out these probes, and probably take out that natural, so I'm not really sure why. Perhaps he just wants to reinforce a bit more. Again, still nothing in production here. No Stargates down for anyone. More Warp Gates coming from Klovos. He's just got 2 observers sitting there. I'd really like to see him get into the base and just kind of see what he's up against. Started to push in there a little bit, it looks like, but BahamutZERO able to reinforce with more Stalkers as Klovos sends more of his own. Although it seems like he could have just warped in there with this proxy pylon. More Zealots coming out. A little lack of sentries at this point, and maybe going for just brute force attack rather than trying to do anything fancy by dividing the forces. Scrolling back over. Still no upgrades for Klovos. Meanwhile, just the single attack upgrade for ground units by BahamutZERO. Warping in another Stalker here, a little bit close to this force, and it looks like Klovos is going to push in. I don't think things look good for BahamutZERO yet. He sees that he's going to push his drones probes to join the fray. I just don't think that's going to be enough. His economy has a bit to get out some more, but just I don't think he's going to be able to hold off this push by Klovos. I think we may be seeing a GG here pretty soon by BahamutZERO. Pylon going down. That won't really affect his supply as he is 35 of 124, quite low for the number of pylons he's got out. Still pushing in here. He's going to be able to take down this natural expansion. Still not claimed a natural of his own. As you can see, the minerals are getting low here, down to 300. Looks like he is finally getting out that natural. But with this proxy pylon, there's just nothing that BahamutZERO is going to be able to do to stop this impending force coming in. He's got no sentries out to block that ramp. And so therefore, whenever Klovos chooses, he's going to be able to push right into that base. And with this number of Stalkers against this amount of Zealots, you can just really easily micro that and defeat that army without taking almost any damage. But for now, satisfied to sit back, take the expansion. This is a very conservative, intelligent thing to do. But now that he realizes the position he's in, he's able to just push right into this ramp. Doesn't matter if he loses 1 or 2 Stalkers there, because he knows that 10 Stalkers beat 2. Likewise here, minerals getting low in the main of BahamutZERO. He's just about 1 up the ramp. Blink just not really being any help with this amount. And GG comes from BahamutZERO. So game 1 goes to our blue hero, Klovos, in this Protoss versus Protoss match. I am very excited to see game 2. Hope you've enjoyed the first one. Stand by while I switch over these files.